Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of College and Career Pathways, where every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m., we provide you with information on various colleges and universities, financial aid resources, skilled trade professions, training programs, employment opportunities, and career readiness skills designed to help you make the best career decisions possible. I'm Tony Cureton, your host, and today we are with Kettering University. Awesome, Kettering. Anna, we're so glad to have you here. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tony. I'm so excited to speak to you and your students and share a little bit more about Kettering here in Flint, Michigan. So bear with me here. I'll share my screen. I have a presentation prepared for you all. Okay, Tony, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So my name is Anna Devoda. I'm representing Kettering University here in Flint, Michigan. And I am just going to share a little bit about our university, campus life, some of the majors that we have available, and some of our unique aspects. Here's a little bit of my information. I'm an admissions counselor, so I share a little bit of information with mostly high school students about Kettering and what it has to offer. So on the screen here, you can see the 9 undergraduate degrees that we have available. We focus mostly on STEM, so any science, engineering, and technology. We also do have a management program and a computer science program. And then on the bottom of the screen, it shows you some of the uniqueness of Kettering. So our students spend 3 months in school and then 3 months at their co-op, and 3 months in school and 3 months at their co-op. So they rotate on and off between school and their co-op all year round. So it shows A section, so that's a group of students. From July to September, they are in school. But then in July and September, the B section students are at work at their co-op. So a co-op is a paid, kind of like an internship, but it's reoccurring. So sometimes an internship you think of as a one-time deal just over the summer, just between classes. Well, a co-op or a cooperative experience is a paid position at some of our partners, and you rotate there between school and work every 3 months. So you get to build a good relationship with them. Some of our requirements for admission, we do have our application on our university website, but it is also available through Common App, and it's a free application. When looking at some of your coursework, we are looking to have at least through 1 semester of trig, 2 lab science classes, and 3 years of English, which is pretty normal in the state of Michigan. Test optional, meaning we do not require you to submit any test grades like an SAT or ACT grades with your application. And they do not make or break your pending application, but we do encourage students to submit them if they want to be eligible for merit scholarships, which is based on your academics. So a little bit about Kettering is we have just over 2,000 students, but as we mentioned before, there's an A section and a B section. So half the students are on campus studying, and then the other half are at their co-op. So at any given time, there's just about 1,000 students on campus. Our student to faculty ratio is 13:1, with an average student size or student class size of about 20 students. But I've heard class sizes that are maybe 5 students or 10 students, so it does vary. So our largest classes are about 55 students, and that happens mostly during your first term at Kettering in the intro to engineering or intro to science classes. But after you get past that class, they're very specialized towards your major. And all of our classes are taught by faculty members. So this talks a little bit about the cost at Kettering and how much you can make at your cooperative experience. So as we mentioned, you're there every other 3 months. So at the end of your time at Kettering, you could have up to 2.5 years of professional work experience, which is pretty phenomenal. A lot of times after people who go to typical colleges and they start applying to work in the workforce, A lot of companies are looking for individuals with 2+ years of experience, which could be kind of difficult if you don't have the opportunity normally. But here at Kettering, it's kind of mixed in with your study schedule. So you can have that experience when you are done with your time at Kettering. Also, we like to tell students it's time for them to test drive their career. So your first year of college, you can try what you're studying. So say you might really want to be a mechanical engineer, and then your first term at co-op, you're thinking, maybe that type of engineering is not for me. Let me switch to a different type of engineering, or let me switch to business, or let me switch to something else. So you can try out your career early on in your studying, rather than studying, graduating, and then trying out the job and thinking, maybe it's not for me. So it can be really beneficial in those aspects. Also, the co-ops are paid, so you can make between 45 and 70K over your 4.5 years. Average earning is 10,000 to 15,000 a year, depending on your job, your major, how long you've been there, and the company as well. A lot of our companies we work with, we do make sure that what you're doing during your co-op is beneficial to your learning, and that you're paid a fair compensation. Some of our co-op partners are below. So we have students at Amazon, Dow, UPS, Ford, GM, and all over. We have over 400 co-op partners. So if there's a company that you want to work with, there's a good chance that we already have connections there. And if we don't already, we are always welcome to adding more co-op partners to our network. So some of the cost. So tuition per term, so those two terms in a year, is about $22,000. And we do require first-year students to live on campus, but after that, it is not a requirement. So the total is about $26,400 before financial aid, if you choose to live on campus in the years after your first year. Also, tuition is fixed. So after your freshman year, your tuition will be the same amount every year, whereas other institutions may increase over time. So we have a couple different types of financial aid. So merit scholarships are kind of what I mentioned before. They're scholarships based on how good a student you are. So we recommend that you do submit test scores in with your application, just so that we can consider you for merit scholarships. We also have Kettering scholarships through the university. Corporate partners have scholarships that they like to offer, especially for students who are accepting positions to work with them as well. Co-op funds, which is the money you'll raise yourself during your work terms. And there's need-based assistance, and then work study as well for students on campus. So this shows a couple of the things that we have available on campus in regards to student life. So we have campus life, we have housing on campus, we have over 40 different groups on campus, and we have a lot of Greek life on campus as well. We also have intramural sports, clubs, basically everything that you would experience at another public university in regards to student life. Some of the clubs we have are athletics. We have diversity club. A lot of our students like very hands-on activities. So we have examples of some of the motorized vehicles that they work together to build and then compete with other teams across the state and country. And we also have clubs regards to hobbies like music or grilling or Frisbee. And if there isn't something that, if you have a hobby that there isn't already a club made for, we have students make clubs every day too. So you're welcome to do that as well. On our campus, we do have quite a few fun activities and areas of study for our students. Kettering has a big pull and are very involved in robotics. So we have areas for our robotic students, for the VEX and FIRST robotic students, to work with their robot and go through their scenarios, and there's playing fields, and we also host quite a few competitions on campus. We do have labs that we allow our first year students to partake in, and we love students getting their hands-on experience. The track at the middle of the screen you see is our GM Mobility Research Center, and it's meant for autonomous vehicles. So we test vehicles out there and make sure that they're able to be driven autonomously. And then lastly, we do have a football field on campus called Atwood Stadium. We don't have a collegiate football team, but Kettering did purchase it as part of a revitalization project for the city of Flint. And we host intramural sports there. We let local high school football teams use it too for their home games. And also our commencements will be at Atwood Stadium. Some pre-college programs we have, most of these programs happen between your junior and senior years of high school in regards to women in engineering, specific races and genders, and special interests like FIRST robotics. So if you're interested in some of those, check out our Kettering website and get involved and get to tour campus a little bit early. And lastly, I just want to thank you all for listening to my presentation today. We do encourage, if you're interested, to come to campus and check out campus. And our students lead our tours on campus, so you'll be able to ask them questions about their co-op and living on campus and what they're involved in. So it's a great touch of what you can expect here at Kettering. I'll also be sharing some links that I talked about in my contact information with Tony. So she'll be sending that out to all of you afterwards too. But if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.
And we do have a question in the chat.
Yeah.
It says, when working with a co-op, is it with the same company every year?
That's a great question. So a lot of our students do choose to return to the same company, but say the student changes major or wants to get some more experience or just wants to change it up, they are welcome to do that. We do ask that you spend at least 2 terms just to kind of get a feel for the company, but you are able to change. And in regards to co-ops, we have like a list, and we have co-op fairs where students are able to come to, and kind of like a job fair. But the student still applies themselves and they do their interview themselves. So we don't match you up automatically. You do go through an interview process. So a lot of students really like that because they may receive multiple offers and they get to choose the one that will be most beneficial, certain areas, certain pay, or even the work that they'll be doing. So the students have full control over what companies they'll be working for. But we do have a department there to help them through the process.
Okay, so then my question, when a student starts their freshman year, are they automatically starting in the co-op portion of your program, or is there application process that they have to go through?
Yeah, so I kind of brought up this screen so it kind of shows you the difference between A section and B section. And we automatically place you in a section, but if that section doesn't work with your schedule or you'd rather be in B section instead of A section, you can change. It's not set in stone. Or even if you're halfway through your schooling and you decide you want to study abroad, you're more than welcome to do that too. So it's very flexible as long as you spend the right amount of terms in work study and the right amount of terms in class.
So guaranteed, every student is going to have to go through a school classroom period and then a co-op work period.
Correct.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's kind of set up for you. And there's a lot of flexibility with what section you'll be in, but a lot of students tend to stay in the same section because they make friends in that section, because the students don't really interact too much between A section and B section because they swap. So the A section students usually don't know the B section students because they're not on campus at the same time.
Oh, okay. And so then does the fact that they're doing a co-op, does that extend their time to earn their undergraduate degree, or they're still at the same pace as every other college student?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. We do project students graduating at close to the 4.5 to 5 year range, just because they have the extra co-ops built into their schedule. But that seems to be pretty typical of most students going to a 4-year university as well. But yeah, we tend to be around the 4.5 mark.
Okay. And so then once a student completes and get their bachelor's in
Mhm.
whatever, field that they select, does that mean that the co-op that they have been working with will automatically hire them in?
It's not automatically guaranteed.
Well, of
Obviously,
course, the student has to, interview for it
yep,
and,
yep,
earn the position. But all things considered, if their part is complete and met,
yep.
does it likely lead to permanency?
Yeah, it is a very good chance just because that company has worked for 2.5 years to train and build knowledge on that student. And the student has also worked 2.5 years for that company, expanding their knowledge and growing. So a lot of times companies don't want to lose an employee that they've already worked with for up to 2.5 years. So
Indeed.
usually there is an offer available, or a lot of times, a lot of these students have connections with their friends who work at other companies who are looking for certain things. So a lot of times the network that these students have by the time they're graduating is remarkable because all of their friends have done the same thing. They're working at co-ops at different companies. So there's a lot of network building that's happening throughout their time.
Okay, and so while they're in their freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, and they're working their co-op segments, are they working at a reduced rate because they're still in school? Meaning that once they complete, their salaries will increase considerably, or are their incomes or salaries that they're earning at the co-op time kept in line with what the current rate for their position is at that time?
Yeah, it's pretty well kept in line. We have a co-op office on campus who works with these companies to make sure that their rate of pay is at the current rate or higher, and that these students are receiving like knowledgeable and helpful information. They're not getting coffee or doing summer intern activities. I don't mean to bash summer intern activities, but they have they're working on projects and stuff. So we make sure that not just any company is a part of our co-op program. We definitely pride ourselves in working with really great companies to make sure that it's a mutual benefit for the student and also the company.
Good deal, good deal. So then, we got a question in the chat. It says, what is the deadline for enrollment?
So we're at rolling enrollment right now. So as soon as you turn in your application, we will be reviewing it. And they say about responses like 3 to 4 weeks right now. So I'd say definitely apply if you have a chance. We are through the Common App, or our website also has our link to it as well. But if you are a senior now and looking to apply, I definitely encourage you to apply as soon as possible, because the deadline for a lot of our scholarships is March 1st. So make sure you're getting your stuff in, and I'd apply as soon as you're able to. As for a GPA requirement, there is not a GPA requirement. We do notice that a lot of our students have above a 3.0, definitely above a 3.0, and have high interest in science and technology, and have fulfilled the requirements like at least through trig or pre-calc, and had 2 science lab classes. So that's something that we do focus on, a high interest in math and technology.
Do you have business? I was going to say, do you have a business program? Because
we do.
Okay, good.
Yep, we have a management program.
Oh, okay. Okay, good deal.
So those students still do the same 3 months on, 3 months off with their business major as well.
Okay. You guys got a really unique program.
It is very unique. I know, that's nice. I love meeting with schools because just reading it off a piece of paper, sometimes it's hard to understand.
Yeah.
But it helps to be able to explain it and kind of show a chart like this is what's happening for 3 months on and off. So we definitely love visiting with local schools.
I think that your program increases a student's ability to succeed because it lets them apply what they're learning in the classroom. I remember when I was in school, and I remember that, school was cool and you learned these terms and, all these formulas and whatnot. But when I actually got into the working environment, it was totally different.
Yeah, quite a bit different.
It was a culture shock. And so I think this is an excellent program for students for several reasons, because one, it makes that transition from school to work a lot more easier and a lot more fluid because they've been doing it every semester of their school year. And two, again, there's nothing like on the job training. You can learn whatever you want, but every company has their way of performing their functions and their duties within each department. And
exactly.
That's something you don't learn in a classroom. It just isn't.
Yeah, we've had quite a few students who maybe have an interest. They know they want to do engineering, but they don't know what type of engineering they want to try out or do first. So it's been really great for them to have a co-op where they focus on chemical engineering, and then maybe it's not their thing, so they switch. Whereas if you get through your 4 years of college and then you have your first job in the area that you studied and it's not what you thought it was going to be, it's a lot more tough to justify rechanging your major, restudying for another 4+ years. So we do have a lot of students who come in undecided, but they know they want to do engineering or science. I'd say for students who are maybe interested in more liberal arts or are very unsure with total categories of college, Kettering might not be the place for you. But if you have high interest in science and you're just not sure what category you fall under, it would be a great place to try it out for those types of students.
Excellent presentation, Anna. Again, I'm such a huge fan of you guys. If I knew about you when I was in school, you would have been the place that I would have gone to. Because you just make so much more sense.
Yeah, definitely a very practical way of learning.
Yes, you just make so much more sense, and it is such a huge time waster eliminator. You eliminate wasting a lot of time. You eliminate the floundering because you don't have a clue, and you just come out of high school. And you're thrust into this environment where it's like, okay, pick a major. And it's like, what do you mean? What's a major?
Right. And you're going to do it the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you have no idea, all of these terms they have and, this big, and you're like, what? Or you go through all of this thinking one thing, and then you get out and you find out there's nothing, nowhere in the market for you to fit.
Right.
I have a lot of colleagues and friends that found out after, the fact that they can't even use their degree. So your school, oh my God, I'm a huge fan. I just love you guys. You're one of my favorites. Good. Every student, I at least point out all of the virtues of your program. It is up to them to decide, but brother, I tell you, I sure cheerlead for you.
Thank you, Tony. We appreciate it. We appreciate the invite to come and talk to your students today.
No problem. I thank you for joining me. And if there aren't any more questions, we will bring this to a close.
Perfect. Yep,
okay.
I'll share that information with you, Tony. And that way, if any students have any follow-up questions, they're more than welcome to reach out to me.
Good deal. Thanks so much,
Perfect.
Anna, and you have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.